Hey you guys, today I wanted to do a comparison review with you of two different programs that I used this year with two of my children. The first one is the Abeka the Abeka Academy DVD programs. So Abeka Academy DVD programs. And I want to compare that with the BJU Press Distant Learning DVD program. Just so you know for reference, I used the fourth grade Abeka Academy DVD program. I bought the complete program, so all of the subjects for fourth grade. We did not use math and we did not use the spelling, but we did everything else on those DVD programs. And then my second grader did the BJU Press Distant Learning Heritage Studies and Science. So those are the things that I am using to compare these two programs. I also watched the majority of the sample lessons on both of their websites for the elementary age. So this kind of comparison is just for elementary, kindergarten through fifth grade. I didn't look at any of their junior high or high school stuff, so I don't know about that. I just know about the elementary ones for Abeka Academy and BJU Press. So the first thing that I want to do is to kind of talk about some of the things that are the same between both of them. And so I have some notes here that I'm going to look at, so I make sure I cover everything. So both of these programs come in a DVD format, meaning you get the DVD in your home to use in your computer or on your TV. And something to be aware of is that when you pay for the program, you are paying to lease the DVDs. You are not purchasing them to own them. You are just leasing them for a year, and then you have to send the DVDs back. That's the same for both Abeka and BJU Press. However, all of the materials are yours to keep. So all the workbooks and textbooks are yours to keep. So that's something that's the same with both of them. Also, the DVDs are complete instruction. So both the Abeka and the BJU Press, all of the instruction that your children are going to need are going to be on these DVDs. You do not have to do anything. Your kids pop this into the computer or into the TV, and they are going to get all of the instruction. The teachers are going to tell them exactly what assignments they need to do. So for you as the parent, all you need to do is kind of supervise, make sure they're watching the DVDs, grade the assignments, grade the tests, that kind of thing. Now, something else that is the same with both of them that I was a little frustrated about was that you cannot skip lessons. It's really difficult to skip ahead. Now, the reason I got these two programs for my fourth grader and my second grader is because I am just in a season of life right now that it is really hard. I have 7 kids, 4 of them I was homeschooling, and it was just really hard to be able to give the time for the instruction that each of my kids needed while I'm juggling a baby and a toddler and all that kind of stuff. So I needed my kids to have all of the instruction done from somebody else. I just could not do that this year. And so that was a blessing. When I was sick, they could still be doing school. However, there are times when I thought this material they already know, we really would like to skip ahead. And what I found is when we skipped some lessons, I had my kids coming to me and saying, hey mom, they said to pull out a worksheet that we were going to finish up, but I never did that worksheet, or things like that. And so they were a little confused. So it was hard to skip lessons, or kids kind of have to follow through and do each and every DVD lesson with the programs. Now there are some things that are a little different between these two programs. First of all is the cost. So with Abeka Academy, they really only have one option for the elementary grades where you purchase the whole year. So you get second grade, third grade, fourth grade, their whole program, all of the books, and the DVDs for the whole year. You cannot just get language or just get math. You get all the subjects all together. Where BJU Press, you can buy them individually. So you can buy the complete I could have bought the complete second grade curriculum, But instead, I was able to buy just the Heritage Studies and just the science because that's all my son needed this year. And so that was really nice. However, Abeka Academy, if you buy if you're buying a whole year, Abeka is going to be a lot cheaper. BJU Press, if you're buying the complete year, is going to be more expensive. And I found that BJU Press materials are just more expensive in general anyways. So if you want the whole year together, you want all the subjects, then Abeka is going to be a lot cheaper. If you're looking for something that's more affordable, BJU Press is going to be a little bit more expensive. But it is nice. BJU Press is great because you can purchase individual things. Now, if you're purchasing the subjects individually, it is a little pricier. So I bought 2 subjects. I got Heritage Studies and Science, and they were still cheaper than buying the full year. But if I was going to get 3 subjects with BJU Press, it would have been about the same, or not, if not even more, than buying all the subjects, that whole grade level. So I would say if you're going to get BJU Press and you don't want to use all the subjects, but you still want to use 3 of them, it's going to be cheaper just to get the whole year. I mean, everything, and then just not use all the subjects. So it is a little bit more pricey, but it is nice that you can kind of do a la carte and pick which subjects you want. Also, they're a little different because Abeka, you're buying the whole program at one time. Let me show you, on one disc, as you can see here, this is lesson 15 and 16. So this disc has every single subject that your child is going to need to do on day 15 and day 16. All the subjects right here. So they just put this one disc into the computer and they just work through Bible, and then I don't know the real order, but grammar and math and reading and spelling and science and all of that. They just work through that on one disc. When you're doing BJU, they come in subjects. So this is Heritage Studies. So for each day, my son would pull out the Heritage Studies, he'd open it up, he would pull out the disc that he needed, and there's going to be several different lessons on this one disc. There's going to be several lessons on this one disc, and so he would do the lesson that he was on, and then when it came time to do his science, he would have to pull out another binder and do another one of these and pull out the science disc. So there's a lot of having to pull out a lot of different discs. But again, it's because they're separate and you can purchase them separately. So that's something different about both of those as well. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the format of how these are set, the lessons are actually set up, because this is what I think sets them completely apart, which makes Abeka and BJU Press completely different. The format is different. Abeka Academy, so just for reference, this one right here, Abeka Academy, is set up like a classroom. Actually, it is a classroom. It is a teacher with real students teaching her class, and they happen to record it. Now, the nice thing is that the teacher does address the students watching. So she will say, okay, students watching, you do this as well, or students watching, this is your turn to answer the question. So she does include your kids watching, but it is a classroom setting. And so it worked well for my 4th grader. She's kind of one of those perfect Polly type persons, and she's good at following instructions. She doesn't get distracted real easily, so it worked for her. I know that if my son had been doing Abeka, he would not be paying attention to the teacher. He would be watching, the boy swinging his leg or fiddling with his pencil or wondering why the girls were wearing a particular hair bow in their hair. So it would have been distracting. He wouldn't do well in a normal classroom setting anyways. So this program would not have worked for him because it's a classroom setting. And so the other thing with this is because it's a classroom setting, there is a lot of wasted time. The teacher is asking a question, and if a student gets it wrong, she asks another student. If that student gets it wrong, she asks another student, and your child might already have the right answer. They're going to have to sit and wait. She asked them to do different assignments. Okay, we're going to work for a little bit on this section, doing this language activity. If your child finishes, they're just going to be staring at the DVD, watching the other students writing the answers out. So there is some wasted time, and I didn't really like that about the Abeka Academy program. I didn't like that my child was really just sitting and watching other kids do busy work when she could have moved on because she was already done. So I did not like that about this. The one thing I really did like about Abeka Academy is that it was really good on reviewing things. I felt like my daughter really didn't just get a general concept, but she knew these facts. She knew the grammar rules. She knew the different geographical regions because they really were drilled into her. Lots of repetition, lots of review. So I did like that about Abeka, but I didn't like that she really wasted a lot of time just watching other kids do things. Now, in comparison, BJU Press is not set up like a classroom. It is kind of like watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And let me tell you what I mean by that. The teacher, there's background, right? So it's not a classroom. There's backdrops and interesting things for your child to look at. The teacher is talking directly to your child, just like Mr. Rogers does on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And with Mr. Rogers, how he would sometimes have that picture, I think is what it was called. And so your kids would get to see, maybe Mr. Rogers would have them look at the way crayons were made or something. He'd take you into a factory. BJU Press does that sometimes. They use video, they use pictures, they use puppets. They have different kind of things where they've acted things out. Different concepts that are acted out. There's songs. So there's a lot of things to get your child interested in what the teacher is teaching. And I really, really love that about BJU Press. And I have a son who doesn't sit well. He wouldn't do well in the classroom. I was really worried. That's why I only got Heritage Studies and Science, because I just didn't think he could sit in front of the TV for all of his subjects. I figured he'd get too antsy, but he actually enjoyed watching these. Actually, to be honest, we all enjoyed watching them, myself included. Sometimes I would find that all of my kids had kind of left what they were supposed to be doing, and we had all ended up watching my son's Science and Heritage Study lessons because we really enjoyed them so much. They were just so engaging. So we really love that about BJU Press. Let me check my notes to make sure I'm getting everything. Oh, the other thing about BJU Press is that there really is no wasted time. The information that they're giving your child is important, and when they want your child to do something like read a page in the book or do an activity, they ask your child to pause the program, and then when your child is done, to unpause it, and then the video will continue. And so I really like that. If my son needed to take extra time, he didn't feel rushed like he was competing with other kids in the class and he had to rush through it. But if he got it done quickly, he just unpaused the program and moved on. So I really love that about BJU Press as well. A couple other things that I wanted to point out is with Abeka, it is very factual. They're giving kids facts. I don't know if this is how they are in all of their grade levels, but in 4th grade, and I'm guessing in most of elementary, they're just giving kid facts, which is great. I mean, kids need facts, especially in the elementary age, they need facts. And so they did do a good job giving kids facts, helping them review them. But something I loved about BJU Press is that they were teaching the kids the information, but they were also helping them to think critically about the information. And when I read this I think it was on the website maybe, and it said, oh, we help the kids think critically, I'm thinking, how can a DVD help my kids think critically? I really don't think so. I was blown away. They really do help your kids think critically. For example, they had a science lesson and they were learning about, my son was learning about dinosaurs. And they wanted the kids to recognize that the Bible most likely mentioned dinosaurs when they talk about behemoth in the Bible, that they were talking, that was probably a dinosaur. But instead of just telling the kids, hey, in the Bible, it talks about a dinosaur, his name was Behemoth, instead of just giving them that information, there was a worksheet that they had to work through to come to that conclusion themselves. So they had to look up in the book of Job in the Bible. They had to read the verses. And of course, I helped my son with that. And they had some questions that he had to answer about what did it say about what Behemoth was. And then at the end it said, hey, is there an animal today that fits that description? And the answer would be no. Well, what do you think Behemoth might have been then? And the answer was a dinosaur. So it really helped the kids to think critically. The other thing I love about BJU Press, can you tell which one I like more? I love that BJU Press really, really integrated the Bible into all of the lessons. I love that. Abeka is, this is a Christian curriculum, so that's great, but I felt like BJU Press did a great job of not only helping the kids think critically, but helping them think critically from a biblical perspective. So I really like that about BJU Press. So just kind of to wrap this up, which one did I like the best? I think you can probably tell it was BJU Press. I really like their DVD program. Did I think Abeka's was terrible? Absolutely not. Abeka is a great curriculum, and I think it would fit for a lot of kids and be great for a lot of kids. Will I be using Abeka DVDs again? Probably not. I'm not going to say never, because I've learned after 13 years of homeschooling never to say I'm never going to do something, because I used to say I would never do DVD programs, and here I am. I use them this past year. But I doubt that I would probably use Abeka DVD again. I might use Abeka materials just to teach my kids on my own, because they do have some great materials, but I don't think I'll use the DVD programs again. Would I ever use BJU Press DVDs again? Absolutely. Actually, next year, I'm going to be using BJU Press, not just for the 2 kids, but probably for all 4 of my kids. Some of them will be doing the complete program, all of the subjects, and some of them will just be doing a few. I'll actually be using it with my 7th grader, doing some of their BJU Press DVDs, because I was just blown away and really impressed with the material, with the way that it was taught, the engagement, the critical thinking, and the way they really tied the Bible into it. So I was really happy with the BJU Press DVDs. So if you are like me, if you're in a season where you need your kids to be getting their instruction from somebody other than you, maybe you've got a lot of kids and you just can't do it all. That's kind of where I am. Or maybe you're like me, you've been homeschooling for 13 years and you're kind of getting a little burnt out and you need to take a little break. Maybe you have to work from home, or there's just other circumstances where you would really benefit from having your kids have some instruction from somebody else where you don't have to do it. Abeka Academy, BJU Press, great options. There are also a lot of other online programs, a lot of other programs that your child can do where you don't have to teach them. I have a whole blog post with a ton of different options of online classes and DVD programs and things like that. So I will link that down below if you want to know about other resources besides these 2 programs. But these are a great option if you're looking for something. And like I said, I will be using BJU Press next year, and I look forward to sharing with you how that goes for us next year. So I hope this video was helpful. If it was, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And as always, if you would like more curriculum reviews, more encouragement, and more practical helps for homeschooling, then make sure to subscribe. I'll talk to you later. I'll see you in the next video.